All right, all right. What's up, you guys? You are watching Real Talk TV. Let me get myself together. Hmm. Let me see if she's still up. Ooh, it's been an interesting day. I know for anyone on Eastern Standard Time, you are probably asleep. It has been a very long day for me. So for those who are unable to watch this video at the time that it has aired, I do apologize. Mm. All right. So let me gather the stuff that I want to look up. Um. Oops. That's what it. Okay. I gotta go back and fix that. Edit. Okay. Let me play some music, y'all, to start it off. What y'all want to hear? Let me see if I can find some slow, calm music. YouTube, hopefully they'll put this information in for me so I don't have to. Before I start, I have to really regroup my energy. I had a good workout earlier today, so please check out that video. But I have to regroup my energy tonight for this live. Oh, that's a hot mess. Okay, that ruined it. That beat that came in was awful. So I wanted to talk about the situation that's been going on with Whoopi Goldberg over her remarks on The View. Yeah, so for me, it probably comes as no shocker for those who typically listen to my lives that I don't see anything wrong with what she said. And I'm going to prove to you why Whoopi Goldberg, number one, is not wrong. Is she unaware of another group of people's history? Perhaps. But who isn't? Who isn't absent in all knowing of history from other groups? Let's be serious. In today's society, specifically Americans, United States Americans, we hardly ever know another person's history, and not just us, but other people across the world. You can't be well versed, well knowledged in information that you didn't know existed. So my take is that no, she was not wrong. Not only was she not wrong, um, but I think this is one of those instances where we need to band together as a community. And here's what's going to happen. I guarantee you, black men are not going to band with Whoopi Goldberg. I can almost guarantee it. Um, Let me see. I can almost guarantee it. I'm going to give you my reasons why um, nothing Whoopi said was wrong. I'm going to explain to you why this cancel Whoopi because of with the monstrous thing she said about Holocaust survivors and the Jewish community is so wrong. I'm gonna tell you why that is not only not true, but um, it's a made up feeling. I don't know why there's this really like a push um, to find the black man's or black person's kryptonite when it comes to race. I think the issue is starting to be, well, if we can't speak on certain things without getting canceled, then you shouldn't be able to either. And that's what's happening. If you've watched The View, if you've watched her comments, you would know she didn't say anything wrong. In fact, she brought up a point that the panel should have taken and expounded upon, but they didn't. And you want to know why? Because white America, specifically the United States, white America hates that black people, however you want to identify yourself, but I'm going to say black people um, pretty much get to say whatever they want about other races of people. And on top of that, our struggle has been ongoing since getting to this place. That there are other races who want trying to have some kind of equal pain or equal suffering. The only group I say that kind of match us in our historical suffering is the Native Americans, aka Mexicans, if you want to, include the Trail of Tears and how that all transpired. But yeah, number one, if you know anything about history of white people here in the United States, we know that the majority of the white people here are descendants of those who came willingly. We know that not only did they come willingly, but when they got here, they didn't mark on their application Jewish. They didn't mark on their application German, Yugoslavian, Polish. There's only one box for them. One box on any form. If you look at any form, you know what? I'm about to pull it up. I'm sick of this shit. This is, oh my gosh. I'm going to pull it up. And again, a disclaimer. I have nothing against other people from other backgrounds, but I am tired of this narrative. So, application. Application example. Uh, let's see. What do you call it? Sample. Application sample form. I'm about to pull something up for those who keep saying that somehow Whoopi Goldberg was wrong and that the Jewish people are a race. Okay. Fine. I don't want a resume. Give me an application. God damn it. Okay, maybe if I could just do it in images, because it's not this deep. All right, let's see. Make it bigger. Can I make it bigger? Whatever. Let me share my screen. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the room. Please like this video. Subscribe to my channel. All right. And if you are, I don't know, if you want to have a conversation, I will drop the link, but you have to let me know you want to have this conversation because I'm ready for it. Share screen. Let's see. Okay, here we go. All right. So this is what I want to show you. This application right here, y'all. I don't know why this thing want to give me such a hard way to go. Oh, where did it go? And then it want me to download stuff. Nah, bruh. Okay. Application. I don't see it on this one. Man, see, this is the crap I'm talking about. And then I got a Mac, so I don't without a mouse, which is the worst idea ever. Okay. So I'm gonna have to show it to you the way I had it. Maybe if I would have typed in template, that would have been better. All right, so we're gonna look for race on these applications. Let's see if we can find the word race, the term race, in a section. If I'm loud, I'm sorry. I'm right in front of the microphone. Let's see. Anybody see the word race? I don't see race on that one. Eye color, address, city, weight, let's see, marital status. I don't see it on this one. Come on now. I know when I was filling out my job applications, even when I was in school, when I go to the doctor's office, but because I'm trying to make a point, it's not going to show up right. Let's see. Let's say school application. Let's try that one. I can't even. This is so weird. Let's see. Yeah. I know I'm not tripping. See what I'm saying? Let's see if let me see. Well, if you are watching this, please type one in the chat. If you've ever filled out a resume, or any resume, any application for anything, and it asked you what your race was, I want to give an example. But these are pretending like they don't ask the question. When I was applying for a scholarship, that's the first thing they wanted to know, what my race was. When you apply for public assistance, first thing they ask you for is, what's on the pamphlet is race. The point I'm trying to make is, because I can't mailing English proficiency. So they find other ways to ask for race, I guess, on these. Like they ask you eye color, hair color. The point I'm trying to make is that when you look at one of these forms and it has race, mm, the races that you see, the so-called races, even though none of this crap is race, uh, the first thing you see on there is black, right? The second thing you might see, I mean, they go back and forth between black and white as the top first race, but you'll see black or white. Then you'll see Asian, Pacific Islander. You'll see Alaskan. I think on some of them you'll see Alaskan. Some of them you may see. What's another one? You'll see black or African descent. You'll see white or Caucasian. You'll see Alaskan. You'll see Native American. You'll see different those primarily, right? And then the other stuff it'll usually say other, Hawaiian, whatever. Where on that application does it say Jewish as a race? I'm asking a serious motherfucking question. I'm asking a serious question. Let me stop sharing for now. I'm asking a serious question. Where on there does it not does it say Jewish, German, whatever, Polish, whatever other race or nationality these people are? Please stop confusing nationality with race. And what they did to Whoopi Goldberg was they pinned, because of Hitler. Let's get it straight. Now, if he believed that this group of people, because they came from this, because they believed in this thing, or because they came from this country, they are lower than anybody else because they were from this country, and so we're going to classify them a race, that's that one individual. I can classify anybody race. White people, specifically, I believe the British or the French, because they both took it over, went to African countries and they separated tribes and said, okay, one tribe, your features, all you groups of people, y'all gonna be one tribe and y'all are one race. The other tribe, y'all gonna be another race. And then they walked away and let them have a war with each other. So if you're looking at it from that standpoint, that point of view, taking people's physical features and saying, well, you all, because of these predominant physical features, y'all are all going to be classified as this particular group. That is how you can say that there is a race, that people were separated by race, right? But number one, you have to know that history in order to have an accurate understanding of it, to have an accurate opinion on it. And if you don't know the history, how is it malicious? How is the comment malicious if you don't know the history? Is it ignorant? Possibly. But I'm speaking from my personal views, as well as what the history books have failed to mention. I know Jewish as a nationality because I know there's a country called Jerusalem. I know Jewish as a religious group. I've never heard the Jewish people be classified as a race. And should they be classified as a race is a whole nother topic. But if they were classified from those two things, and that's what we're taught here in the United States from whatever books that we're taught them from, they sure as hell did not change our minds, change our views when it got here. So when they came here to the United States, where they were not oppressed, they did not suffer that much of anything. They got called names every so often. I mean, come on now. That's your oppression here in the United States? That's what you're basing your pain in the United States off of? Because the Jewish people dominated when they got here into the United States. They didn't have lynch mobs running after them. An entire system built on making sure that they were exterminated. That happened in Germany or in the different areas of Europe, right? That happened in to I would say one period in time that affected 3 generations at the most at one time. So it couldn't have been about race. It was one individual who saw certain physical features, maybe a religious beliefs, and was disgusted by them, whatever that was, for whatever reason. His own insecurities, right? But you come here and you don't say, I am not white, I'm Jewish. I've never seen anyone petition in all my years, have seen any Jewish person petition for inclusivity in a job application and say, wait, you forgot us, the Jewish people. Never, not once. Show me where this group of people who identify as Jewish, as a race, have fought so that they can be present on a job application, on any document. You want to know what they did when they got here? Those people from Germany who practiced Judaism. You want to know what they did? They checked off white. They didn't complain. They didn't make a stink about it. They were proud to be Jewish. What does that mean? All I know about Judaism is that they have a bar mitzvah. That's religious. That's a religious practice. So, but you have a nerve to call this woman racist, bigoted, because she said it wasn't about race. You want to know what she did say, though? One point she made was the issue with Hitler was humanity against humanity. No one took that. That could have been a very powerful moment, because in my mind, I believe most issues when it comes to the oppression of one group by another is humanity against humanity. That is how I see it. And they could have said, you know what? That is correct. That is exactly what it is an example of. And they used the Jewish people's features and language, or whatever they had that separated them from the Hitler's crew. They used those physical features. They used that language. They used those religious beliefs as an excuse. No, you want to know what they did? They went on a campaign. Pretending that they are the victims of some kind of racist rant that never existed. It never existed. Not once did she say anything derogatory. Not once did she say anything about hurting anyone. Not once did she take away from the experience that those people who suffered experienced. Not once. You know what she did? She tried to humanize. She tried to globalize the pain that they went through. She tried to keep it away from something that she was not familiar with. You cannot blame her for not knowing that Hitler saw them as a different race. Here in the United States, they want to tell us all the time, don't worry about race. Oh, race doesn't exist. It's all in your mind. Unless they can find a way to break this I don't know, shield of protection that Black people have. Yes, we have a shield. We deserve it. We deserve it. I think most people of color deserve it. Because not only did our ancestors suffer, first of all, it wasn't one error. It was the entire span of our existence here in the United States. The entire span of our existence here in the United States. It is ongoing. When the last person who endured enslavement passed away, those memories didn't die with them, because we still had so many other painful experiences leading up to today. And so what happens is people get jealous, like everything else. It's no different. You have a group who is envious, who is jealous, that no matter what, they are protected in their history. It's not a good history. It's not a history that we're proud of. But our ancestors did not deserve what happened to them century upon century, generation upon generation. And so now other races of people are really trying to find a way to erase the magnitude of what our ancestors went through, period. And the Jewish community is trying to do that. The Jewish community is trying to do that. How can I be anti-Semitic if I say that what you experience is not due to race, but due to the lack of humanity for another group of people? How? We have to wake up. We have to wake up. We have to pay attention to what is happening. Number one, they want to eradicate history of Blacks in this country, of our ancestors in this country, what they experienced, what they went through. They want to eradicate that. They want to pretend it never existed. It never happened. But they want to keep the Holocaust in. But they want to keep whatever other situation. The Holocaust didn't even happen here. Come on, people. What's up, Emil? How are you? I didn't even see that. What's up? Emil, I would like for you to come up if you're still in here. I would really like for you to come up. You're knowledgeable and you are a person of another background. I want to hear what other people have to say about this situation, because I want to bring up that Stop Asian Hate situation that has been trying to brew itself here in the United States. They're showing clips of um, Black people in Black communities, and low urban communities, so-called attacking Asians and saying that it is specifically because of the Asian person's race. And I beg to differ. Those people that are committing crimes commit crimes throughout the entire community. You want to know why Asians are a part of being victims of those crimes? Because they work in those particular communities. Ask me how I know. There's I don't know one person in my life that I've ever met who hasn't been robbed or victim of some form of crime committed by Black people. They're opportunists. I'm about to drop it right now. Let me see. It's there. Anyone is welcome to come up. Like I said, hit the like, subscribe to my channel. I'm frustrated. I'm upset because we go out and we protest for the dumbest stuff, for criminals who get who things happen to them in the midst of them committing crimes, in the midst of them hurting other people. When all this woman did was probably misspeak or maybe didn't know a bit of history from some other part of the world, and now she's being canceled. Welcome, Emil.
Hold on, give me a second.
While you getting yourself ready, I want everyone to know that this happened
The
in
fuck?
the beginning, the first week of Black History Month. That's not a coincidence. That's not a coincidence at all. Mm,
Hey,
yeah,
Real Talk, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Um, so before I go on, I would just like to say that I'm really happy doing this and joining some discussions on live streams on YouTube because it helps me come off my shell more and socialize more rather than just doing and sharing videos.
Absolutely. Okay, Emil,
I don't.
I'm going to forewarn you. Um, your how you feel is how you feel. Do not come up here with anyone else's talking points. Okay.
Understood. But
And
you
then
might wanna check your volume
okay. Can
because
you hear
even
me?
even with my headphones on and my volume all the way up, I still can't hear you clear.
Were you able to hear me when you before you came up?
When I was on the YouTube app, I was able to hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
But when I joined the live stream, that's when I couldn't. That's when I heard you less.
Okay. Are
And
you able
even
to
with
hear me
even
now?
with my earphones plugged in, you're still the volume is still somewhat down.
Super Christian said they hear me fine, so it might be on your end. Um,
My mic is not muted.
no, I can hear you. You might not be able to hear me because of something going on your end.
Okay. I really don't know what's going on my end.
Okay, but we can hear you
But
perfectly fine.
okay. But so I just like to say that yeah, I did hear about what's happening with Whoopi Goldberg and the stuff she said about the Holocaust. And what she said, even though she backtracked, uh and apologized for what she said. What she initially said at the beginning wasn't a lie. The Holocaust really and truly has nothing to do with race when you look at it. Because when you look at these, first of all, I would like to say that Jew is not a race, it's a religion. Everybody should know that, just like how Muslim is not a race, it's a religious group of
Thank
people.
you. That's the
A-
point I was making
yeah,
before you came up here.
anybody can become Jews or Muslims. And the truth must be said that the original so-called Jews that really came from ancient Kemet, they were African people with dark skin, bald hair, or Afro woolly hair. Those were the original so-called Jews. The Jews you see today in Israel, okay, those are Khazarians, Ashkenazi Jews that converted to an African religion, invaded a land that's really part of Northeast Africa, which makes them imposters. And when you look at their lineage, they're Europeans. They came from Eastern Europe. So that's just the history I wanted to make about these Jews, where they come from, and how African people slash black people have been furthermore been stripped of their original culture and humanity. So when you look at the Holocaust, it really wasn't about the white race, so-called Aryans, oppressing another race of people. It was really white on white crime. But because these Khazarian Jews are so protected by the world and they own and control everything, you can't say that kind of stuff because it goes against their Zionist agenda. So they preach and they teach that there are a whole separate group of so-called oppressed people from other white people.
It says it right here in Wikipedia. So I'm looking right here in Google. All you got to do is Google it.
Yeah,
Jews or Jewish people are an ethno-religious group and nation originating from the Israelites and Hebrews of historical Israel and Judah. Jewish ethnicity, nationhood, and religion are strongly interrelated, as Judaism is the ethnic religion of the Jewish people, although its observance varies from strict to non. So that's like saying, um, if you took a group of people who identified as Christian, you stuck them in a place and you named who believed in Christianity, right? A group of people who believed in the Christian religion, Christianity. You stuck them in a land, and you decided that that land was going to be called Christ land. And then they lived in this Christ land for generations upon generations. And somebody said, you know what, these people, we're creating this thing where we identify people based on features or based on skin tone, based on whatever it is we want to come up with. So those people who live in Christ land are now ethnically Christians. That's not how it works, but that's how the Jewish people are want it to be.
yeah. They want to teach that they're so-called people of color,
Right.
separate
Correct.
from white people, but really and truly, they are white people. When you look at them,
Correct.
many of them have blue eyes, red hair, and blonde hair, like a typical white person. And guess what? Here's what many of you might not know for those of you who are watching. Hitler was a so-called Jew. He comes from a he comes from a family and lineage who has very close ties with the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. These secretive mystical group of people who run everything in the world today.
And my question
From
is,
from the entertainment system
correct,
to the food we eat and everything going about our daily lives, even the banks.
Emil,
Yeah.
why do you think there is such a push to minimize the experience of the, for lack of a better term, black person here in the United States?
I think that's just how it has always been ever since uh black people, aka Africans, have been enslaved, brought to the United States.
We have to
I
be
think it
clear,
all
black
I think
people
it
are not necessarily Africans, but they are descendants, in some cases, descendants of Africans. We are not specifically Africans, but we are descendants of Africans.
okay, if that's what you believe, I respect that. But
No, that's
going
a fact. It's a hundred, it's a fact. So because of the, because black people in the United States who have generations here in the United States, our DNA is so intertwined with other races of people, you cannot call us African. Does, I don't know, that's a topic for a whole nother day. But um it's that, so that right, that what is a little bit more complicated. And I think because people can't understand that, they are trying to create their own historical pain here in the United States, because people can't wrap their head around, well, you know, a lot of the talking points used to be here in the United States used to be, go back to your country, go back where you came from. And the argument was, this is our land. This is our land by default. This is our land because majority of us have Native American in our blood. Majority of us have white European in our blood. So, what land are you referring to? And so we ended up being kind of like the United States' bad, little closeted secret that they just can't shake. That thing that every what they call the elephant in the room. Everywhere they go and everything that they do to other groups of people, what hangs over their head, this United States of America, what hangs over their head is the treatment of its people of color, how it destroyed any ability to properly trace our steps anywhere,
and this land we call the United States
right?
is not just your land. Really and truly, the whole planet belongs to all black
That's
people.
right. Well, see here.
You guys were the original humans. Non-black people like me, we came from you all because of mutations of the DNA and lack of vitamin D from the sun.
Mhm.
As you all move to cooler climates,
Mhm.
uh
It wasn't necessary,
that's where this pale skin comes from.
right?
But as you were asking me, why are they pushing for the struggles of Black Americans? Why are they suppressing it? It's just out of pure hatred.
And what I'm finding is, unfortunately, other groups of people are on board with it. other what you would call races of people are on board with it. If you look at and I'm going to be honest, the Stop Asia Hate propaganda.
Yeah, I'm Asian, and I think that's a propaganda as well. I'm speaking out against it. This is coming from the horse's mouth
Hmm.
because a lot of Asians practice hatred wicked against black people. Look at the story of Latasha Harlins, where she was mistakenly accused of stealing her orange juice. And
Oh,
even
that's
when
the
she,
one that they shot up. Is that the? Oops, I gotta watch my words.
that was the story of the black girl in Los Angeles who got shot by this Korean woman in the 90s.
Yeah, and she never went to jail.
Yeah, the Korean woman
Yeah,
only faced community service.
yeah.
See, these whites and Asians practice wicked hatred against you and don't ever face any charges or for further atrocities that they've done.
I feel. You know what?
And
That's
I also want to throw in another
okay.
fact of history. You know you might not know of the Herero and Namakwa genocide that happened against this tribe of black people in Namibia. It was committed by the Germans, and the Germans at that time it was never considered a war crime. And up until today, uh, Germany has never faced any punishment for what their president predecessors did during the Herrera and Namakwa genocide during the early 1900s. And as I recently learned, the victims of that genocide, they're keeping the organs of those victims in freezers in Germany. And that's just really diabolical, outrageous. It really needs to this kinds of stuff needs to be called out.
Right.
The
But
modern
see,
day, the
but see,
ongoing
but
modern day genocide of black people really
Emil,
needs to be called out and have some light shed on because
Emil,
this
let
is
me
a
tell
really
you
serious
something.
issue.
I know it is, and they know it is. But here's the thing, right? If you look at the history of humans, if you look at the history of man throughout every part of the world, every part of the world, even within those initial lands, such in Africa,
Hmm.
there's always been an attempt to annihilate another group. Always. So I hope that you have an opportunity to watch and listen to what Whoopi Goldberg said. Because she wasn't wrong in what she said. She said um it was human, what was it? Humanity against humanity.
That's right. Just
That
like when you look at World War II, just like how the
yes,
Japanese uh, oppressed and massacred a lot of Filipinos, and both
correct,
of them are Asians.
correct. And that's a good point that you made. So the argument
And
for
then yeah.
for these Jewish people is we were a race. We were a race, right?
Hmm.
So so if you're going based on I don't know what they're basing the fact that they're a race off of, but if that's going to be a race, then wouldn't that apply to any other group who practices and believes different things, such as the Japanese versus the Korean versus the Indonesian, the Indonesian versus the Filipino?
Hmm.
They are all, if that's the case, then they are all different races of people.
And they're really not. They're all Asians, and they all have the same mindsets and attitudes. I noticed that the Vietnamese and Cambodians, they also come here with nasty attitudes towards black people, just like the Chinese and Japanese when they set up all these nail shops and beauty salon stores. They're all Asians that come here to America with the same mindset to help the system of so-called white supremacy practice hatred, hatred, wicked hatred against black people.
If you truly wanted to create a world where equality really existed,
Hmm.
would you try to create um, a victimhood that didn't exist?
If I want to create a world of
If
equality,
you
with
wanted a more equal world, if you wanted more peace, if you wanted a society where things got better, would you create narratives such as what the Jewish people are creating right now?
I mean, if it's something that really happened, we cannot deny and overlook these atrocities. We need to acknowledge them and teach them so that history doesn't repeat itself. But it doesn't mean that they put their struggles over the struggles of other groups of people who have had it more worse than them. In this case, black people, because black people all over the world have been suffering and going through uh, a continuous Holocaust that continues to be overlooked and ignored. But when you look at the Holocaust that happened with these Jews in Nazi Germany during the 30s and 40s, that happened only for a short time. So they can't say that what happened to them during the Holocaust is sustaining humanity and is uh, a lot worse than what other groups of people like black Americans have gone through. Because really and truly, black people all over the world have had it much worse than these Jews, Asians, Native Americans, Arabs, or what have you.
Hmm. Can a Jewish be German and can a German be Jewish?
Yeah, if a Jew lives in Germany, they can become German and uh, acquire a German, uh, become German nationals, become German citizens. And yes, a German can convert to Judaism and become a Jew. But you
So,
have to, but like I said, when you really look at the history of religions, they all come from they all come from black people. So these religions that people are converting into, they're not the original people of those religions. They're just converts. You can convert into a religion, but they don't make you the original people of that religion. Do I make sense?
yeah, my argument tonight is there. You want to hear something?
Yeah.
There is no race. There is no race.
Yeah,
There,
that's what they're saying nowadays. That race is a social construct.
yes,
But you
it
see, the
is.
thing the thing that causes us to classify people into race is the skin tone.
It's not just skin tone, but phenotypes as well.
Yeah, and drastic differences in anatomical makeup and taxonomic makeup.
Yes. So again, if you took, if you, let's say somebody was born with a physical difference from the rest of their tribe, and or a couple of people within that tribe were born with physical differences than the others, and so they got sent away. Albinism, let's use albinism because
Mhm.
that's a very common ancient, I would call it a defect in the skin.
And I heard that there were some black African tribes in Africa where if someone was born white, that was looked at as very abnormal and diabolical. So they were ostracized and sent away somewhere.
And in some cases they, they took their lives, took the children's lives, but in other cultures they were praised.
But when you really look at it from a scientific viewpoint,
Hmm.
dark skin, black hair, and dark eyes are dominant features. And pale skin, blue eyes, and blonde hair, those are recessive traits. Those are just facts. You
Hmm.
can say that we're one race of people, but there are still some so called obstacles and hurdles that make us different from one another.
Yes, but those did not exist without the separation of people. So, for instance, if someone or a group of people get ostracized based on um, those differences, they get sent somewhere to live among each other and share in those differences. What you create is a race. Race was created. For example, mm, my siblings are much lighter than me. I am considered, dark skin. If, let's say, based on my complexion, um, I was considered, you are different than the rest of us. So therefore, we don't know what this is because they couldn't understand how to accept differences. In the beginning of civilizations. So they say, you know what? You have to go somewhere else. You can't be here. You have to go somewhere else, and because that looks unnormal, unnatural. So I go somewhere else, and wherever I go, it works for my skin tone. It works for my skin, or it works for whatever thing else I have going on. So I begin to adapt to that climate even more. I centralize myself, and I create my own tribe, and they have my genetic makeup, and so they carry that gene, whatever made me dark, and so that is where we are, and that is where we live. So now you have these two separate groups of people who are part of one group, but they separated and they migrated.
Mhm.
That is all civilization is. That's it. That is race right there. That is race. People from because of war, because of resources, because of physical um differences for or religious beliefs, separated from one another. And when they separated from different into different parts of the world. And like the human body is no different than any other species on this earth. It's called adaptation, survival of the fittest,
Natural selection.
natural selection. Thank you. All of those components play into who survives and who doesn't. They believe that there was a thing called Neanderthal. Guess what? In the process of natural selection, the Neanderthal didn't make it. And so
Because he was a recessive being. And,
and so
and it's from the Neanderthal where so called Caucasoids and Mongoloids came from.
right,
When you also look at it scientifically,
right. I think we have to look at it both scientifically. We have to look at it socially, in terms of sociology, like the patterns of migration will tell you everything you need to know. If we come from one people, why do we keep referring to each other as race this, race that, your race, my race? We are one gene away from being one people, one messed up gene away from being one people. So when you hear someone say, oh, no, you're hurting my race of people, you're disrespecting my race of people, their you have to realize that their mind is so small, so minute, they can't even comprehend what it truly means to be human,
Yeah.
of the human race. We talked a little bit about this, Emil, the last time you were up here. If I can procreate with you, if I can procreate with another human, if we can produce offspring, we are meant to procreate. Yes or no?
Hmm. Yep.
A horse can't mate with a fish,
So they're two different species.
two different species,
So what you're trying to say is, even though our skin tones are different, we're still human, which is pretty obvious.
right?
It's just that we have different skin tones. That's it. And you're
Correct.
trying to say that
I'm saying
that
that
doesn't
there,
that doesn't keep us from procreating because we're all humans.
correct. I'm saying that there was a gene, whether it's considered a defect, some people want to call it a defect, some people call it all kinds of things.
Hmm.
I'm saying that we are all one people. One people. We are the same species of life.
And I wish, yeah, I agree with you. People really need to understand and grasp that they need to stop using the color of their skin as a form of superiority
Correct.
to make themselves look better than other groups of people, like the whites. That's where so-called white supremacy comes from,
Correct.
because they think their skin is all white and pure and good. Really and truly, it's a recessive trait, and they come from black people.
Correct.
Black people produce them.
Right.
Humanity wouldn't be without black people.
But you have to say what type of black people. You can't just say black people like me. I'm American black. So it's a lot in a person like that. You get what I'm saying? So when we look at, again, I'm telling you, sociology, if you look at the migration of man, people go up, go down, come back, swing around into different parts of the earth.
Yeah,
And so in that process, you have a change in physical appearance,
due to climatic conditions and favors.
not just climatic, but genetic. Remember, we still thinking about, um like you said, natural selection. We're still thinking about, um the laws of nature. At some point, some groups couldn't survive, and the ones who survived are the ones who were able to adapt to whatever climate there was. And so, to bring this all back, when I hear someone say the um you're being racist against us Jewish people, That's a fallacy because the Jewish people, as Emil has already stated, the Jewish people didn't start out with blind hair or blue eyes.
The converts and imposters.
I wouldn't go so far as to say imposters. Maybe they are the product of two what do you call like a groups of people. Remember I told you about the migration and then the remigration and the coming back and going away and coming back and all that transition. They are the product of multiple groups of people transitioning in and out of a place. If you know anything about Italy, Italy is considered South Europe, but it is right there next to Northern Africa, correct?
Yeah. And uh, the Mediterraneans. Uh, many Mediterraneans, from what I've heard and seen myself, their skin complexion is much darker due to the
Mm-hmm.
climate they live in,
Mm-hmm.
and they look different from the northern and eastern and western Europeans
Mm-hmm.
who are more fair skinned, who are more lighter skinned, and have blue eyes and blonde hair because they live in much cooler climate where it where having a darker skin is not necessary and favored.
So Italy used to be all dark skinned people or majority dark skinned people.
Yeah, and Greece.
In Greece, correct. Correct. Yes. You know your history.
All of the Mediterranean, because
Yes.
it's right there in Africa, close
Yes.
to Africa, and ancient Kemet also had very close ties to all these Mediterranean countries.
Yes. Why is the images coming up? I want this.
I've seen ancient Minoan art and frescoes and pottery of them as originally being of African descent.
Right here, New York Times has a article. How Italians became white.
Yeah,
See, what people don't understand is when you start getting into race theory, you have to know the context. You have to understand the mind, the size of the minds that are trying to unwrap and
hey, real talk.
unwrap.
Sorry to interrupt you for a minute, but do you
Go ahead.
know anything about the Cheddar Man?
No.
He's the Cheddar Man is remains of a man in the UK that lived thousands of years ago, and when these scientists and paleontologists performed a DNA analysis from him, they found that he didn't have pale skin and he had dark skin and black hair.
What is this again? Can you say it again for me?
The Cheddar Man.
Spell it for me.
Uh, you know how to spell cheddar, like
Like
cheddar
this?
cheese. Yeah, just simply type in Cheddar Man.
Cheddar man.
Yeah, cheddar as in like the cheese type.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what he's called, the Cheddar Man.
cheddar. Mm. Let's see if that's it.
Yeah, Cheddar Man's
Oh, cheddar.
Britain's oldest skeleton. He's black. Yeah, look at him. That's the uh result they came up with when they performed DNA analysis on his remains.
Mm. Dark skin, brown curly hair, and blue eyes.
Yeah,
And that's what see, people don't understand. People already exist who look like that. There are people who look just like that. Um, and so when you're thinking about what race is, race is nothing but spurts of genes, like you said, recessive genes, spurts of these malfunctions, if you will. But I don't think anything is a malfunction. I just think there's a shift in gene makeup. These shifts in dominant genes, these shifts, these hiccups, like when a person comes out and they have a, let's say, a deformity, um a paralysis, or they um have an extra toe, these all these different things. We have so much inside of our DNA on a molecular level that I don't think people understand how intricate the process is to make a human in terms of coding the genes.
Have you also heard of the mitochondrial DNA?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it comes from it's a paternal DNA that comes from and only the black woman, the so-called black woman. And when that gene uh mutates, different kinds of people come about.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we get into the race theory.
Right. Race is fairly new.
Hey,
Matter of fact, I'll
real
show you.
talk.
Yep.
I'm gonna stay on the
Go ahead. If you
panel.
got to drop
I just
down,
have
just
to use the bathroom real quick.
oh,
I'll be right back.
all right. Then shut your camera down. Like you know how to like turn your camera off. Oh, I don't think he did it. Let's see. So that's what I want people to understand is, um when you hear someone say that an individual is racist, an individual is superior race or inferior race, their minds are small. If you disagree with me, come on up. Be respectful, but come on up. They tried to break Whoopi down, as they typically do, right? Why is there so much effort? Why is there so much energy put into um trying to create this narrative of of separation? And a lot of us are falling for it. A lot of us are falling for this narrative to be separated. Why?
Hey, real talk. I'm back.
Okay.
But listening to what you were saying as I was getting myself settled back on my bed, you were asking why is there this push to be separated? Well, when you look back at history,
Mm-hmm.
black people never looked down on anybody or enslaved anyone or
That's not
discriminated
true.
against anyone based on the color of their skin. They
Oh,
were
okay.
very welcoming people. You have to understand that all of this social construct of race
Mm-hmm.
comes from these white people because they were made to believe that their skin, their fair white skin, is superior.
Mm-hmm.
This is where all of this stems from. It's really deep history that you need to search up, that people need to search up.
Absolutely. I'm
I
listening.
agree with you. It is nonsense. And everybody, there shouldn't be any racism, there shouldn't be any discrimination or atrocities being committed against other groups of people based on the color of their skin.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you on that. But it all comes from ignorance, lies, and deceptions.
Ignorance, lies, and deception. You are 100% correct. Ignorance, lies, and deception. I like that. Ignorance, lies, and deception. And what's happening is people are falling for it. Why do you think there's the powers, we like to call them powers, but the people who have money, the people who have money, um, why do you think they want us to believe that there are these things called this thing called race,
Yeah, and the truth of the matter is, even white people and Asians are oppressed.
right?
They look up, like, they look at themselves as better than black people, but they too are oppressed. Why? Because they have to work for this system, the system that benefits and makes money off of us. We have to, we all have to work our asses off real hard every day, breaking our backs, getting less breaks, vacation, free time, and
Mm-hmm.
less time from our families, and suffering from mental illnesses and depression from all these jobs, these really toxic jobs and working environments that
Mm-hmm.
we're in. These higher ups have created a whole toxic environment and system for everybody. Oh shit. Hello?
Uh-oh, StreamYard kicked me out of my own stream. I wonder if Amir's still there. Emil. Oh, he left. Okay, here we go.
Oh, you're back.
Yep, I'm back.
Oh, I was speaking real truth. That's why we got booted out.
No, it was because I didn't realize that I was typing in the what you call it, um where my StreamYard is instead of my, like, I opened two tabs or whatever you want to call this thing, and I was typing in the wrong one.
Okay. But as I was saying, oh, white people and Asians, no matter what they think, they really and truly, when you look at the bigger picture, have it just as worse as black people and everybody else. Because
Yes.
we're all working in a really toxic, unnatural system where all these elites, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and reptilians are benefiting off of us.
Do you see a
Benefit,
way out?
well, as they say, we are God in flesh. We are our own gods. So it is up to all of us to awaken and take out this evil system.
Um,
And they show you that in movies like The Hunger Games. This is where predictive programming kicks in. Kicks in. And I don't know if you've watched the Hunger Game movies, but it's about these group of oppressed people, both white and black people, Asians and Latinos and Arabs, right? All these oppressed group of people, no matter what race they so-called race they come from, they're working for an evil government where they're being made and chosen to kill off one another. Eventually, they got really sick and tired and fed up with that diabolical system. So they went against the matrix and took it out.
I wish I could play. What you call it? You think I wish I could play without getting clipped, but I know the view is not gonna let me do it. I wonder if I can play it on the audio on my phone. Let me see. I just want you to hear what she said. What did you hear? Did you see it already?
Yeah, I heard it on another YouTuber's channel.
Okay. Did they play the video?
Yeah, it was on this channel called Keith Newsom.
They must not be they must demonetize that particular video.
Oh, it's still up.
No, I said demonetized. So what
Oh,
happens is in order to avoid the copyright bug flag situation, you can demonetize that particular video so that you can play stuff.
oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all and like I had a rant today and I was like just really frustrated for the past few days of how they were how the network ABC, is it ABC, was handling Whoopi Goldberg and canceling her and suspending her, and I just thought to myself,
They just wanna keep this whole lie going
yes,
on.
yes, yes. And that's why I don't
And you
watch
have
the
to
news.
understand that people like Whoopi Goldberg are bought, owned, and controlled. So she can't think out of her own mind. She has
Mm,
to, since she's working for them, she has to go along with their thinking and what they want the whole world to think.
correct. And you saw she apologized immediately. Immediately.
I'm in the me being in the military. I'd be damned if I say that. They're gonna separate me in no time.
Yep. Yep. So you got to watch what you say, Emil. And
But we have to,
certain things
but
I like to do, huh?
we still have to keep telling truth though.
The- mm, mm,
No matter how much trouble it might get us into, truth is still truth.
mhm, mm.
I think that's what Whoopi was trying to do, but she had to. Unfortunately, she had to backtrack and take back what she said and apologize,
Mm.
which I think is really cowardly. Because if she really was authentic, she would have not backtracked and apologized. If she was willing to escape the plantation,
And you should see some of the the news, like the news is sensationalizing this, turn it into so much. Just turning it into so much. Is ABC owned by the a Jewish is it a Jewish network?
you know it is. These so-called Jews own everything. They even own Disney. All of entertainment and media, they own everything. There's no question about that.
Mm, 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 mm. Well,
They even control. They're even the ones who are controlling and administering the Bengali.
the Bengal Golly, what's that?
I don't want to say it because I don't want your video
Oh,
to get taken
okay.
down. But the uh shit.
Don't say it. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, no. It's a code word.
Okay.
Do you see me? That's what the Bengali is. The jab. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
they
a
came up with a name for
yeah,
it.
another YouTuber came up for a name of it.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't really say what the real word is, so we have to
Right.
come up with code words.
Right.
But the Bengali, right?
Mhm.
That's really making people sick. That's Jew owned and controlled.
Mm. Mm,
So
dang.
so is nanotechnology
Don't get me started on technology. If it was up to what is his name?
and GMOs. They're
No,
behind all
what's that guy name?
they're behind all this shit because they're just diabolical.
What is his name?
Bill Gates,
Yeah, that one too. But the one who's in
Jeff
control of
Bezos.
Tesla,
Oh,
the
I
Tesla.
don't, I don't know who. I don't know who controls Tesla.
Yes, you do. Um,
Jeff Bezos. I know
no,
the
not
Jeff
Jeff
Bezos is
Bezos.
the owner of Amazon.
You know who I'm talking about. Oh my goodness. He looked like he I think he has like some kind of speech. Um, what does that mean? Oh my gosh.
I think he passed away. Are you
No,
talking
he
about?
did not. He's young. He's young.
Oh, because I was about to say Stephen Hawking's.
No. I'm looking him up right now because I know his name. Let me see. Um, the one who's sending everybody to space.
Ah, I don't want to go to space.
Elon Musk. There we go. Ooh, I couldn't get it out for the love of me. Um,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what you believe in about space. Whatever beliefs you have about space, I respect. But here are my own beliefs about space. I agree with some people that this uh this planet we live in is surrounded by a firmament, and there's no way for us to go to space because the creator don't want humanity to colonize and destroy other planets like what we're doing to our own planet right
you
now.
know what, Emil? Let's I want to do another live probably this weekend. I don't know. But I want to explore. See, I don't know too much about astrology
I
and
don't know too
arrows,
much about these things either. I'm just
but
getting
I
into it.
right. So it'd just be like a conversation of theories.
But
Um,
it would make sense though if there was a firmament that's keeping us trapped.
but that's what I don't think
Because
so. Here's the
we're really destroying our own planet,
right.
and
That's
we
what
can't
that's
go
the
to
point I'm about to make.
yeah
Is
we can't go
I
to other planets and do the same stuff we're doing here. That's just
right,
very destructive and genocidal.
right. Think about this for a second. Everything, and it's not just white people. I hate when people say, "Oh, the white people, the white mean, the white mean." I
I
mean,
mean, even the
there's
Asians are doing this. They're setting up an artificial. They're trying to set up an artificial moon and sun
right.
for for reasons I really don't understand.
Let me tell you should understand it.
Oh,
What's happening is we are um destroying this world so much that it will
they just want to be
be
destructive.
right, that it will be uninhabitable eventually. And so there's this push to figure out, instead of figuring out a solution to fix what we already have, they are trying to figure out how to find another place to destroy, probably. I don't know.
Hmm.
But yeah. But I think
But
that's a topic
here's
for another
another
day.
thing I'm trying to get you to understand, and I hope you don't get upset with me for telling you this. From what I've noticed and observed, so-called black people don't be doing these kinds of stuff.
Oh,
They're naturally holistic people.
no.
Do you have any evidence you can show me?
Uh you've been following. Look at Umar Johnson, look at what's his name? Umar Johnson. Look at oh my goodness.
Because here's a prime example. Hmm. I don't know how I can put this. Before the arrival of Europeans in Africa,
Hmm.
there were many African species that were thriving, like the dodo bird.
Uh-huh.
And ever since the Europeans set foot in Africa, many species of African animals became extinct because they were overhunting them. They were using them
Hmm.
for uh, very violent, barbaric gladiator battles in Rome, and they were also hunting them for sport.
Hmm. So
See,
my
the African people didn't contribute to the extinction of the animals from their continent. It's
right,
Europeans who did that, and now the
right.
Chinese.
You
Recently,
saying
recently in 2011, we lost the uh, northern black rhinoceros because the Chinese kept hunting the black rhinoceros down for its horns because they believed the horns contained great medical value. So it wasn't African people who contributed to the extinction of the rhinoceros. It was Chinese people from China going to Africa and hunting those animals down.
right, but so if you look at, okay, this is why
And
I'm
then
such,
in ancient Kemet,
this is
uh,
why I'm such an advocate in not in really trying to break out of using race as an excuse. I think race is an excuse. It's a way out, and it's a cop out. If you look at if you look at history, you have to learn the history of people all over the world, and you'll find that um, every single so-called race of people at some point in the history of mankind destroyed life forms around them. It just depends. So the real thing is who causes the most damage, I think, is where really what we're our argument is, who's causing the most damage, who's causing the most harm to the earth and everything on the earth. And I would make the argument that um it's not about a specific race of people who's causing damage, it's about the access to technology.
see, the thing is, when you look at ancient Kemet as an
Hmm.
example, which we know is was black ruled civilization, they held animals very sacred. They held
That
many
was that
species.
culture. That's what I'm saying. That was the cultural
eh,
belief of that specific culture. It had nothing to do with their race. It was their cultural beliefs that protected the animals. Because if you look at Chinese culture today, I don't know about today. Chinese culture in the recent past, as in, I would say, what we identify as ancient, but not too far like
Dynastic China.
I would say dynastic China, maybe Han Dynasty around that time, maybe a little bit before. Um, they took great pride in the earth. What we call the Native Americans took
The
great
original
pride,
Chinese were black.
took, and that's why I'm saying it's cultural. What happens is
I
sometimes,
think you broke off.
can you hear me? Hello?
Hello. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So what I'm saying is it's cultural. I think depending on what is happening in that particular um whoever the leader is, it's all about who the leader is, if the lead and what the leader values, because if the leader believes in something, his people will follow. And unfortunately, you know, the people who and you we reference who was the beginning, who was the first group of people. Those first group of people, regardless, don't focus on what they look like. The first group of people took care of the earth because that's all they had. You understand what I'm saying? In order for you to have food, in order for you to have a um greenery, land, and water. To have those things, you had to take care of what you had. And there was no technology, there was no no man-made filtration system. It was just the earth. And so they appreciated what the earth gave them. There was no ability to go to space. Religion wasn't really developed yet. They were in the process of developing religion. And so all they knew was what was in front of them, and they were grateful for what was in front of them. And then you see people, as they migrated to these very cold, dark, desolate climates and become what we know today as white people. There wasn't much land that that was plentiful. There was Things weren't plentiful in abundance, so they didn't have a value for certain things. uh, and then you have to look at narcissism. Maybe there was a m- chemical imbalance in the brain. That's what narcissists, these are mental illnesses. So you have to look at the psychology. Maybe these mental illnesses were developed more prominently in people who came from that um, part of the world.
That's why you see a lot of white people today with the highest percentage and rates of mental illnesses than black people.
Right. It's a mental illness that got passed on from generation to generation to generation to generation. It's called narcissism. You get what I'm saying? There's a lot of different types. And so what happens is, if you don't see value in anything and you breathe a culture that doesn't see value in anything, guess what they're going to do? They're going to destroy everything around them because they don't see value in it.
They also lack empathy.
And they lack empathy. Correct. So sociopaths, they lack empathy.
People who hunt animals for games don't believe animals have souls or feelings.
Right.
And when they do,
Right. And so if you can't, if for some reason you can't empathize with the world around you, you can't empathize with the human beings, with the other animals, you there's all you see is you. All that is important is you. That's a mental illness.
mhm.
And if
when
it
people
goes
are when people are self-absorbed and self-ingrained within themselves,
right, grandiosity,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely. And so if you can look at, and certain people are more susceptible than others. Like African people are more susceptible to diabetes.
Because of the because of all the evil and that's been done and put in their food. This is another push and agenda to exterminate black people because
I would.
all the
Mhm.
all the food and stuff that's given to black people to ingest, it contains all bunch of really toxic, harmful ingredients and chemicals that black people aren't meant to ingest. But because of this evil system of so-called white supremacy, and there's always a push and agenda to exterminate black people. So that's where black people develop all these disabilities and sicknesses from, like diabetes, because of what's being done to their food and what they're being made and forced to ingest and consume.
Think about the people who came to this country and became the leaders of this country. Who were they? Who were they before they came to this country? Who were they?
Nobody's.
Nobody's. What status did they have?
None. They just wanted to rule and seek power.
No, the ones who were originally came here, the ones who originally came to the United, what we call the United States,
Yeah.
they were nobodies in their country. They were what you would call the bottom of the barrel. And they came to a land and they saw an opportunity to be somebody. They saw an opportunity to have all the things they could not have in the place that they came from: power, dominance. You have to remember, hatred, hatred is taught generationally and is protected. Hatred is used to protect a person's personal interests. That's how you
That's
have
why you
to.
can't. That's why you can't say anything about these Jews. Otherwise, they'll
Right,
call you anti-Semitic.
right.
Because they want to, like I said earlier, they have a Zionist agenda going on. They want to keep that going. They want to implement this new world order. They're the ones behind this upcoming, impending new world order.
You think it's impending? Interesting. I don't think it's impending. Maybe I'm naive.
Well, they're already trying to spy on us and get about our daily businesses through all the television and phones we use.
Mm.
That's why they're always trying to have access to our current locations and put these microchips in the bingo gollies they're giving us
Mm,
to track our whereabouts and gain information about us.
mm. This is getting deep. So I have to go to bed, but I'm so
Yeah, me
thankful that
too.
you came up here. What time is it where you are?
It's 1:47 a.m.
Okay, yeah, we on the same time, running our mouths.
No, we're
But
not, we're not running our mouths. We're spreading truth.
that's
We're
yes, we
having a
are.
meaningful conversation, and I like
Yes, sir.
I like being on panels like this.
Wow. Thank you, Emil. Hopefully you'll start to have your own panels. I can't wait. Um, keep going on people's panels, keep building up their confidence. That's how I did it. Uh, and then you'll be able to, host your own.
Hmm.
Until next time, you know how it is. Please like that, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, share this video with as many people as you possibly can. Um, Emil, you don't understand uh how it feels to speak to somebody who is knowledgeable, has has an opinion,
I'm
and is
still
able
learning new
to
stuff.
express it. All
I'm
good.
still learning as I go.
That's right. We all are. All right.
Have a good weekend, y'all.
Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Peace.
Peace.